Hi students, this is the continuation of the previous lecture. In the previous lecture, we discussed the concepts of In the previous lecture, we started the topic of predicate calculus. In this predicate calculus, already we saw what is meant by a predicate. How can we represent a predicate using the symbols like m of x? Suppose where m represents the property of the subject x, where m represents is a man, then m of x is nothing but x is a man. So here we are representing that m means m stands for that the property of the subject which is denoted by a capital letter, and x stands for the subject. If we replace this x by some Ramu, then we get m of x means that Ramu is a man. In the previous class, we discussed what is meant by a predicate, how can we represent the predicate in terms of symbols. Then we see what is meant by a statement function, next compound statement function. How can we get the compound statement functions? If we join the simple statements by using the logical connectives and or, exclusive or, negation, conditional and biconditional, we will get the compound statement functions, right? In this class, we will see quantifiers. How many quantifiers are there, and how can we represent those quantifiers in terms of symbols? Next, the problems on these quantifiers we will see in this class. Right. What are the quantifiers? Here we have two types of quantifiers. One is the universal quantifier. The second one is existential quantifier. Universal quantifier, which is quantified by set of all elements in the universal set, is nothing but universal quantifier. Means that it is true. That means the statement is true for every x in the universal set, right? So, universal quantifier, it is denoted by symbol for all x, or inside the parenthesis if we write x, the meaning of that also universal quantifier. When do we use this universal quantifier? If the given statement consisting of the word or every, so whenever the given sentence meaning is for all, for every, like that it is there, we use the universal quantifier, right? If we see the first one, all men are mortal. Here we have two things, one is men, second one is mortal, right? Suppose if I represent that m of x means that x is a man, right? And h of x means that the property of x is mortal. To represent this first sentence, all men are mortal, because all is there. So whenever we consider one man, he is mortal. The meaning of that is, if man is there, he is mortal, right? So the statement is valid for each one. So we represent it by for all x. If man is there, then he is mortal. We use if then. So if then means the meaning of if then is conditional. So m of x, conditional h of x. So what is this meaning? For every x, if x is a man, x is mortal also. If x is man, then x is mortal. So all men are mortal. It is represented by m of x conditional h of x. So if x is man, then x is mortal. It is true for every x. So which is bounded by universal quantifier for every. Next, every apple is red. So suppose if I represent a of x means x is an apple, then r of x means x is in red color, right? So every apple is red. If the apple is there, then it is in red color. Its meaning is like that. So for every x, if x is the apple, a of x means x is an apple, then x is in red color, then r of x, right? Second one completed. Next, coming to the third example, an integer is there, either it is positive or negative. Whenever integer is there, it is positive or negative. So z of x, x is an integer. It is either positive or negative. So p of x means x is positive. So n of x means x is negative. So the meaning of an integer is there. So for every x, if x is an integer, then x is either positive or negative. Then it is either positive or, either or means it is a symbol of disjunction. P of x or n of x. Like that, we represent the each sentence by using the predicates and also the quantifiers. So if the given statement consisting of all, every meaning, then we use the universal quantifier. It is denoted by these two symbols, right? Next, the same thing explanation here. For all or for every x, if x is a man, then x is mortal. It is denoted by this. For all or for every x, if x is an integer, then x is either positive or negative, which is represented by this. For every x, if x is an apple, then x is in red color. So for every x, if x is an apple, then conditional statement r of x, right? Next, second quantifier, which is existential quantifier. Existential quantifier is denoted by the symbol there exists x. It stands for, that means the meaning is, if the given sentence consisting of the meaning, there is at least one x. If the given statement is true for at least one variable, or if it is true for one person, or if it is true for one thing, then we use existential quantifier. Means that it is not true for all the cases, right? Or for some x, we use this quantifier. See here, there exists a man. Suppose in one place, that means one man is there, one woman is there, and one animal is there. Now I am saying that in this room there exists a man. The meaning of that is all the human beings are not men, right? So there exists at least one person, means that there exists a man. Suppose first one, let m of x represents x is a man. X is a man. Right? So there exists a man. So there exists a symbol x, m of x. Next one, some men are clever. Here we have two things. One is the two subjects, men and clever. Two things are there. Meaning of this is some men are clever, some are may not clever. Right? So let m of x represents x is a man and c of x represents X is clever, right? So to represent this second one using the predicates and quantifiers, because sum is there, the meaning of sum is there exists X. Who is this X? X is a man, so M of X. And what is his property? What is his property means he is clever. So, and C of X. So what is the second one? There exists X, M of X and C of X. Now see, X is a man and X is clever. There exists X. So there exists some person, he is man and he is also clever. Now see the third one. Some real numbers are rational numbers. The meaning of that is only some are real numbers, some are not rational numbers, right? If I denote these real numbers by R of X, if I denote these rational numbers by Q of X, right? So some are existing, there exists X. X is a real number and X is a rational number, right? So the exists X means this property is not true for all the numbers. So that for some numbers only this property is valid. Next, universe of discourse or universe. It is like our universal set in set theory. What is meant by universal set? It is the set which consisting of all the elements under consideration. Otherwise, universal set is the set which is superset of all the sets under the discussion, right? So here also is the same thing. We restrict the universe by limiting the class of individuals or objects under consideration, right? Sometimes we call it as universe of discourse, right? Universe of discourse. Then the variable that are quantified. Quantifiers means here we have two quantifiers. One is universal quantifier for every. The other quantifier is existential quantifier. Stand for only those objects that are members of a particular set. Suppose if I write some 3-place predicate is there, M of X comma Y comma Z, right? So if I write for every X, here the free variables are Y and Z. Why we are saying that free variables? For these two variables Y comma Z, there is no quantifier. But X is boundary variable which is bounded by universal quantifier. Yesterday we saw one example. Sita is taller than Radha. So if I write here, no quantifier is there. Sita is taller than Radha. Now this Sita and Radha both are elements of the universe of discourse, right? So whenever the variable is quantified by some quantifier, it may be existential or universal, we call it as bound variables. Next, see the problem. Express the statement, every student in the class has studied calculus. Here we have one thing is student, second thing is studied calculus, right? So that like P of X denotes, what is the predicate here? P of X, statement function is P of X. What is the property of this X? X, student X has studied calculus, right? Next one, calculus is denoted by P of X. What is the next one? Student. So S of X means X is the student of the class. Now every student, because every is there, we use the universal quantifier for every. For every X, if he is a student or she is a student, he or she studied calculus. So if he is a student, he must studied calculus. If he is there, so we use a conditional statement. X is a student, X must studied calculus. What is this? P stands for? P stands for studied calculus. So for every X, S of X conditional, P of X. The meaning of this is, if X is a student, then X must study calculus. So like that, every sentence can be written in terms of predicates and quantifiers. What is the use of this means? After expressing the given sentences in terms of predicates and quantifiers, again we have rules of inference theory. That means by using the rules of inference, we are saying that the given set of premises are consistent or inconsistent, otherwise a tautology true or false. Next one, when the quantifier is true, when it is false, how can we say this one? We can easily understand this table by using a simple example. Suppose if I consider every student in CSE B section are passed this subject MFCS, right? So from roll number 61 to C0, every student passed the subject MFCS. So if I call roll number 91 or roll number A1 or B1, any student, right? Each student passed MFCS examination. Suppose Sita is the student of CSE B section, right? Sita failed MFCS subject. Then I can't say that, I won't say that every student of CSE B section passed MFCS subject. See here the meaning it is. For every X, P of X, when do we say that it is true? P of X is true for every X. That is like every student of CSE B passed MFCS examination, right? So if we take 91 or roll number 65 or 85, any student passed, then only we say that which is true. So if the given statement is true for every value in the universal set, then only it is true. When it is false, already I said one example. Suppose Sita is a student of CSE B section. She fails in MFCS subject. She is the only person fails in MFCS examination. Then we can't say this statement, right? So there is an X, there is Sita for which MFCS subject fails. Fails means MFCS subject passed is not true. So for one subject or for one variable, if it is false, then universal quantifier is false. There exists X, there exists X P of X, right? There exists X P of X. When it is true, there exists, right? So there exists some X P of X. Now that my statement is, there is an apple, right? There is an apple in this room. If I get at least one apple, now my statement is true. Suppose in this room all fruits are there except apples. So oka apple kuda ledu except apples. So in this case I am saying that P of X is false for every X. At least one thing is true, then it is true. If nothing is true related to statement, then there exists existential quantifier is false. Next, see the problem. What is the truth value of the following quantifications? First one, for every X Q of X, that is a universal quantifier. What is this truth value? What is Q of X for the first one? Q of X is X less than 2. So they ask that the truth value of for every X Q of X, right? So what is the universe of discourse set of all real numbers? So all of you know that real numbers means minus infinity to plus infinity. If we consider 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, set of all real numbers are there. What about this truth value? They ask this question. So because universal set consisting of set of real numbers, if I take let x is equal to some 3. Now Q of 3 is whether 3 belongs to universal set or not. Yes, because 3 is a real number. Q of 3 is 3 less than 2. Is it true? No. It is false. Right? At least for one variable in the universal set, if it is false, because it is the universal quantifier. In the universal quantifier, at least for one x, if it is false, our truth value of universal quantifier is false. So, what is the truth value of for every x q of x? It is false. Right. Now coming to the second sum, it is also universal quantifier. When it is true, for each value in the universal set, if it is true, true. At least one value, if it is false, false. What is p of x here? X square less than 10. We see here. P of x is x square less than 10. What is the universal set here? Universe of discourse is set of positive integers. Right? Z plus. And ekkadi nunchi start avutadi 1, 2, 3 and so on. Whether for each value in the universal set is it true or for any number it is false. If I take x is equal to some 4, P of 4 is 4 square 16 less than 10. Is it true? No. It is false. So, there exists one number 4 for which P of x is false. If one number exists, means that the truth value of this universal quantifier is false. Right? Now we see the third one. What is q of x? Q of x is the statement x is equal to x plus 1. What is the quantifier here? There exists x q of x. When it is true, when it is false. Existential quantifier is true at least for one x if it is true, true. False means for all values if it is false, false. Now see, what is the universe of discourse? U is set of real numbers. Is there for any real number? Is x is equal to x plus 1 for any x? Belongs to set of real numbers? Such type of number exists or not? By cancelling this x on both sides, we will get 0 is equal to 1. Is it true for any value, for any case? No. It is always false. For any number, this condition does not exist. That means for any number, this condition is false. For all numbers in the set of real numbers, this condition is false. So P of x is false for every x means that existential quantifier truth value is false. Right? Therefore, its truth value is false. Like that, we have to discuss the universal quantifiers statements of truth values. Next, now coming to the next one, write each of the following in symbolic form. First we have to check whether each sentence and also whether each sentence consisting of term or sum are there or not. If all word is there, otherwise some word is there, then we need to write quantifiers along with predicates. Suppose this all is not there, men are jades. If it is not there, then we need to represent it by only predicates. All is there, then we have to represent it by using the quantifier. See here the first one, let m of x represents x is a man and g of x represents x is a giant, right? So all men are giants, all is there, so we need to write for every x. If x is a man, then x is a giant. Second one, no men are giants means that all men are not giants. The meaning of second one is all men are not giants. So if we take any man, he is not a giant. So here also we use for every x. If x is a man, he is not a giant. Not a giant is represented by negation g of x. Next, the third one, some men are giants. If we consider among all the men, some is giant. So we can write, because word some is there, we use the existential. There exists x, m of x, that means x is a man and he is a giant, and g of x. Right? Next, coming to the fourth one, some men are not giants. So there exists some, at least one man. He is a man and he is not a giant. Like that, we need to represent each sentence by using the predicates and quantifiers in symbolic form. If we know how to write like this in symbolic form, then only we can apply the rules of inference on these quantifiers. Next, free variable. Let x be a variable, d be a set. P of x is a sentence, right? P of x is called a predicate or propositional function with respect to the set D. What is D here? Universe of discourse, right? What is D? D is called the domain of the discourse or universe of discourse. So if I write P of x like this, x is not quantified by any quantifier for every or their existential quantifier, then we call this x is a free variable, because here no quantifier is there. Suppose if I write same p of x by using for every x, then we call this x is bound variable, because x is bounded by the quantifier for every. Next, see here, there exists x p of x. Here x is called bound variable. Otherwise, for every x p of x, then also x is called bound variable, because which is bounded by the quantifiers for every and there exists. If p of xy is the sentence, then the sentence for every x p of x comma y. Which variable is quantified here? X is quantified. So x is bound variable, because there is no quantifier for this y. Y is free variable, right? Now, next one. Let p of x, x is a person. F of x, y, x is the father of y. M of x comma y, x is the mother of y. Now write the sentence x is the father of mother of y in terms of predicate, right? If the sentences like the blood relations are there, we have to start the sentence from right side onwards. What is the right side sentence? Mother of Y. It is completed. Because Y is mother, it is the previous generation. Because mother, I represent it by minus symbol. If it is father, we denote it by plus symbol, right? Mother of Y, it is completed. Next, coming back. Now, by going back, father of, her father. So, it is also the previous generation because father, we denote it by plus symbol. Who is her father? X is the father. So, here I write X. Now we have to denote X is the father of the mother of Y. So we have to introduce some person in this middle generation so that we write it as let Z be the mother of Y. And X is the, who is X? X is the, here I am introducing Z. Z is the mother of Y and X is the father of Z. So now I denote it as X is the father of the mother of Y, right? So X is the father of Z, father of Z. So it denoted as f of x comma z and z is the mother of y. In the place of x, z is the mother of y. So m of z comma y and some z exists here. Who is this z? Z is the person. So person is denoted by p of z. So z is a person. How can we write this one? There exists some Z. Z is the mother of Y and X is the father of Z. Some person must exist here. Therefore, there exists Z. Like that we write this problem sentence in terms of predicates. Right? Next, right? This is about this class. Summary of this class is, first we discuss the quantifiers. How many quantifiers are there? We have two quantifiers. First one is universal. Second one is existential quantifier. Next, we saw some of the problems on these quantifiers and predicates. How can we represent the sentences using quantifiers and predicates? Next, we define the free variable and the bound variable. Using the free variable and bound variable, we solve the problems. How can we represent the given sentences using the predicates, quantifiers, free variables and bound variables? This is the overview of this class. Thank you.